These days, motorists roll by on Interstate 80 without paying attention to this vacant, red roof store building at Brady, 20 miles east of North Platte. But that wasn't the case when Nebraska's interstate was young in the 1960s and 70s. The roof was teal blue then. Prolific billboards beckon cross-country travelers to pull off I-80 to fill up, maybe get a 99-cent all-day breakfast or a cheap three-piece chicken dinner, buy souvenirs for the kids, and pick up the pecans and pecan candies that made the store's name nationally famous. This was Stuckey's. It all started in 1937 in Eastman, Georgia, when W.S. Sylvester Stuckey Sr. borrowed $35 to open a roadside pecan stand. His wife Ethel took his pecans and started making old-fashioned candy, including what might have been Stuckey's most iconic product, the pecan log roll. By the 1960s, Stuckey's had become synonymous with the Great American Road Trip. More than 4,000 billboards directed travelers to nearly 400 stores in 30-plus states, including 5 on brand-new I-80 in Nebraska at Seward, Giltner, Odessa, Roscoe, and Brady.
So for the summer, it was an extremely busy place. I mean, it would be packed at times, no parking. I guess it was just one of those stops that the timing was everything. People didn't want to maybe stop at the big city, and it wasted time. This was quick. I don't know, but it sure was busy. I think it was a gold mine for Stuckey's Corporation. I think it was one of the most productive stores they had.
Teresa Dillard's family, the Peckhams, owned the ranch land that Stuckey's leased for their Brady store. She worked there as a high school senior, even being rowed to work by her dad Dick when the Platte River overflowed its banks in the spring of 1973.
And I met people from all over the United States, which was pretty cool. And since I worked pumping the gas, I was the only girl doing that. So it was kind of a novelty, if you will. I guess I didn't think much of it at the time, but people were always, asking me, why do you want to do this? Well, it's fun, and I'm not indoors the whole time because I'm a real outdoors person. I don't know. I've always been a tomboy too. So me and the guys.
The Brady Stuckeys lasted into the 1990s, long after new corporate owners had closed dozens of stores nationwide. A gravel pit occupies the former I-80 store site at Roscoe, near Ogallala. The Giltner store, between Grand Island and Aurora, is gone too. Only 3 Nebraska Stuckey's buildings still stand, at Odessa, Seward, and Brady. But the Stuckey family didn't give up. Sylvester Stuckey's son Billy bought the company back in 1984. And in 2019, Billy's daughter Stephanie left a career in law and politics to become the 3rd-generation owner of what her grandfather started 85 years ago.
What's interesting about my childhood experiences with the brand is that I interacted with Stuckey's just like every other kid who grew up during that era in the 1970s, road tripping with their families. My grandfather sold Stuckey's in 1964, a year before I was born. So the company was out of family hands my entire childhood, although it still bore our name. And so we always stopped. People ask me what was it like growing up as a Stuckey. The easy answer is we always stopped at Stuckey's. Other kids told me they'd have to beg their parents or scream that they had to go to the bathroom, whether they did or not, just to get them to pull over, or they'd have to have a day or two of good behavior. It didn't matter. We always pulled over at Stuckey's in the Stuckey family.
Only about 13 old-style Stuckey stores are left, operating independently in the South. So Stephanie Stuckey's aiming to rebuild a nationwide market for her family's trademark treats. She does a video blog of her travels on the company website at stuckeys.com.
I've really tried to focus on the joy and the independence and freedom of taking a road trip as something that can connect our brand with new generations, even if they've never heard of Stuckey's. Because I think no matter what age you are, there's a lot of people out there who love taking a road trip. So I want them to identify with our brand and introduce them to Stuckey's by talking about the road trip.
Stuckey's already is making a comeback in Nebraska. Their trademark pecans and candies can be bought at Baumgar's in North Platte. And their late 1960s store at Brady's Interchange has been bought by Bob Uran, a Colorado hotel developer who lives at nearby Jeffrey Lake. He wants to reopen it as a gas station, convenience store, and restaurant with a country store feel. And he wouldn't be opposed, he said, to selling Stuckey's pecans and candies there once again. For the North Platte Telegraph, I'm Special Projects reporter Todd Von Kampen.